On Thursday, March 20th. Thank you for joining us for News 18 this morning. The news from where you live is next, but first, meteorologist Cameron Hotman joins me with a look at your forecast for today, the first day of spring. Hello, Cam.
Oh, good morning, Alex. Yeah, winter holding on, just about 7 more hours of this brutal winter holding on at this point. We're headed for spring later today, and things are looking very nice. Maybe not as a result of spring arriving, but altogether, let's think of it that way. So far this morning, scattered light cloud cover, cool conditions. We are still dealing with that low pressure system that brought us all the cloud cover, all the rainfall early yesterday morning. Well, that low will continue to drag further off to the northeast, and as it does that, things are looking a bit clearer. Actually, what we're looking at later on in the day today, afternoon high temperatures reaching the mid-50s, but as of right now, it's 30 degrees. Winds are still from the southwest 7 miles per hour. Breezy westerly winds paired with some sunshine later on will help boost us up into those mid-50s later this afternoon. All in all, we're headed for a very nice day with temperatures about 5 degrees above average for this time of the year. If you think that sounds nice, wait until your first full day of spring for tomorrow. Temperatures will be warming all the way up into the mid to upper 60s. Now, we also have a little bit of a cool down in the forecast. I'll let you know exactly when to expect that and how long it will be lasting. Coming up my full forecast here in a few minutes.
Cameron, thanks very much. Our top story this morning, one suspect is in custody as Lafayette police investigate a pair of overnight armed robberies. The first one happened around 3:30 this morning at the BP gas station on Teal Road and 22nd Street. Lafayette police officer Blake Switzer says the suspect displayed a silver handgun when he walked in. He is described as being a black male. Switzer says the suspect then fled on foot, and he says Lafayette police now have a suspect in custody. About 15 minutes later, Lafayette police responded to another armed robbery at a Circle K gas station at the intersection of Ferry Street and Earl Avenue at around 3:45 this morning. Lafayette police officer Switzer says the suspect in that incident also displayed a silver handgun and fled the scene on foot. He's also described as a black male, thin build, wearing a black hooded sweatshirt with black pants. Switzer says the suspect's height is approximately 5'8" to 5'10". We're also following a fatal overnight crash on Interstate 65 in White County. Indiana State Police say a female from Illinois died in a single vehicle wreck in the northbound lanes. Traffic is moving slowly near that crash site, which is around mile marker 188 near the Brookston exit. And police in Rensselaer released surveillance video of another armed robbery suspect who officers say assaulted a store clerk. It happened Tuesday night at the Raceway gas station on McKinley Avenue. Officers say just after 10 o'clock, a man with a knife went into the store and restrained the clerk, who then refused medical treatment. Police say the man got away with an unknown amount of cash. Investigators say the man was around 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing 180 pounds. He's believed to be in his late 20s or early 30s. He was last seen wearing a hooded sweatshirt, gray jacket, and jeans. Anyone with information on the case is asked to call Rensselaer Police. A Montgomery County family is thankful no one was hurt after a fire destroys their home. Carrie Ethington, her husband Kendall, and 18-month-old son James were in their home at the time of the fire. Then after hearing Kendall yell that there was a fire in the house, she grabbed her son and left immediately. Both doors in the house were engulfed in flames at the time, so Ethington said her family escaped through a window. She says they got as far away as possible from the home because of heavy smoke.
I'm very thankful that we were okay. I remember I was holding my son really tight because I just was glad he was in my arms. And then looking up at the house, and I just can't believe it, you know?
Ethington says she has the support of close family and friends and has options for places to stay. Monthly bills for Duke Energy customers could be going up soon. The company has been approved to raise electricity rates to pay for its Edwardsport coal gasification plant. The Indiana Court of Appeals has ruled against environmental and consumer groups that wanted the decision by state regulators overturned. The ruling lets Duke charge its nearly 800,000 customers 16% more on monthly bills. The Area Plan Commission votes for 2 new economic development areas along US 231. The areas allow the city to create incentives for development and use tax funds more easily for things like roads and drainage projects. APC Executive Director Sally Fahey says one of the areas borders 231 and stretches from the Cumberland Avenue north to the New Mire. The other includes land owned by Purdue and the Purdue Research Foundation.
The question was asked tonight, well, would they get any tax increment from Purdue on land? And the fact is, if they build a building and then lease space to a private entity, then that part would generate tax funds.
Fahey says it's just too early to tell what will come to this area. The West Lafayette City Council will now vote on these measures. The APC also had a split vote on changing an area off Veterans Memorial Parkway from neighborhood business to general business. A bagel shop there wants the area to be zoned as general business to allow for a drive-through. The request was continued to next month's meeting. The Indiana Department of Transportation is working to make Interstate 65 more safe. Spokeswoman Debbie Calder says INDOT will repair metal barriers with loose or fallen cables. Drivers can expect to see them fixed within the next few weeks. And in addition to those repairs, 10 more miles of cable barriers from 4 miles north of State Road 43 to just south of US 231 will be installed in late spring and early summer. Pedestrians traveling between West Lafayette and Lafayette could soon have more options. The Technical Transportation Committee approved $140,000 in federal funds to pay for a new trail. The trail will connect to existing paths in West Lafayette and one that will be built on Sagamore Parkway Bridge over the Wabash River. Lafayette is also working on a path connecting the Wabash Heritage Trail to that bridge. The overall cost for the project is $175,000. The additional $35,000 needed is being provided by the city of West Lafayette. Officials say engineering for the trail could begin as early as 2016. For nearly 6 months, drivers have been using the Hoosier Heartland Highway, but many say the roadway could still use more signs. News 18's Holly Campbell has more on the final touches still to come.
One sign coming from Lafayette into Delphi, and that's all I see. There is absolutely nothing out there at all.
I almost missed 900 out here going to Lafayette because of the small sign.
Driving along the new Hoosier Heartland Highway, many drivers say they notice there's something missing: road signs.
There's still little roads off to the sides that actually doesn't really indicate where you're going to. Even Old 25, which was a great road, is still there, and there's little towns in between there, like Americus. It's hard to get to. It's very confusing.
I think it could use a few more. There's a couple signs for Delphi. I think there's one up by Lafayette that tells you how far it is to get here, and then there's a 3-mile sign for Delphi, and then pretty much just one right at the exit.
INDOT spokesperson Matt Deitchley says the rough winter delayed the installation of many of the mile markers and large exit signs. He says the ground has been too hard to put the signs up, but they're coming in the next few months. People living in communities along the new highway say they want to see other types of signs along the road. Local business signs.
I think they need more of them pointing in toward the town so the towns can get more business.
Delphi Mayor Randy Strasser says the city and county are in the early stages of planning what type of signs will work best, whether it's INDOT signs or billboards. He says the city and county and local businesses also need to decide who will pay for the signs. Carroll County Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Julia Leahy says the chamber has made its decision. She says there is a demand from local businesses to have signs listing local businesses along the roadway. Leahy says she has been working closely with INDOT and the Indiana Logo Sign Group, a contractor chosen by INDOT to place logo signs along state roads. The Hoosier Heartland must be considered an expressway or interstate to be eligible for the attraction signs.
The only way that the people on the Hoosier Heartland are going to figure out what's in Delphi is if we put some signs out there. They're not just going to go on a little journey through Delphi and look at the scenery. They're going to have to know that there's something here they're looking for.
Deitchley says that classification will not be made until all work on the highway is complete this summer. He says in addition to the mile marker and exit signs, crews will continue to work through the spring to finish up the landscaping and seating along the road. Holly Campbell, News 18.
And spring officially begins today, and with it comes the vernal equinox. That's when the sun is directly above the Earth's equator and day and night are of equal length. It happens just twice a year, so while the spring equinox hits today, the fall equinox will begin on September 23rd, which is the first day of fall.
And now, your Precision 18 forecast. News 18. Weather from where you live.
Well, it seems like winter is just holding on for dear life. It won't let go. We still have the cool conditions at this hour. 29 degrees, but just about 7 more hours of winter before spring finally kicks off. And we're actually looking at a pretty nice afternoon ahead of us. Winds are currently from the southwest 5 miles per hour, but will be primarily from the west throughout the entire day ahead. That wind chill still right around 24 degrees at this point. Our current temperatures throughout the viewing area, it's 34 in Kokomo, 29 Lafayette, same story for Fowler. It's 31 in Rensselaer and 31 as well in Crawfordsville as you step out the door this morning. Now, we saw the cloud cover, that early morning rainfall yesterday, all thanks to the low pressure system now moving across the northeastern United States. That will continue to track eastward, bringing along with it a lot of that cloud cover. Also, we have the area of high pressure off to our south over Arkansas, supplying us with the clear skies, those southwesterly winds for the time being. Now, the southerly winds will only last throughout the morning hours. We are looking at primarily westerly winds throughout the entire day ahead. So the westerly winds won't do much to warm things up, but we are expecting a good amount of sunshine later in the day to help boost those temperatures for the first day of spring. So what we're looking at on our high-res futurecast, just some light scattered cloud cover. Any precipitation chances you see on our futurecast, pay no attention to. We will be remaining dry throughout the day ahead. Just some light scattered cloud cover at best expected by this afternoon. Now we'll see plenty of sunshine with some pop-up cumulus cloud cover later in the afternoon, maybe even some stratus cloud cover later on in the evening hours, but all in all, still a very nice day remains just ahead of us at 12:57. That is when spring officially kicks off. The vernal equinox occurs, the sun right over the equator. Today will be just as long, the day will be just as long as the night later on this evening. 44 degrees will be your temperature as spring finally moves in. 49 degrees by 3 p.m. We'll hit 55 degrees by 5 p.m. and only cool off to around 36 overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. We are looking at some slight scattered cloud cover, but aside from that, winds shifting back to the northeast around 0 to 5 miles per hour before those winds shift back southward for tomorrow afternoon and really help boost those temperatures throughout the viewing area. Our high-res futurecast for tomorrow, mainly clear to partly cloudy skies once again during the morning, but as the afternoon rolls around, that's when more of that upper-level moisture will move back in. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon, and even, yes, that chance of rain showers and possibly even a couple thunderstorms. We're tracking a low-pressure system that will roll through the Midwest beginning tomorrow afternoon, finally bringing the cold front along with it by tomorrow evening. Scattered showers, maybe even a couple claps of thunder mixed in with this line, but all in all, by about 10 p.m., this should be moving out of the Lafayette area. We may see this rain develop as early as 7 or 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Check out these afternoon high temperatures. 67 degrees your afternoon high in West Lafayette. Will hit 66 in Crawfordsville before falling off to around 34 Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday, we only warm up to around 46 degrees, and we continue to cool off from there on out throughout the remainder of your forecast. 37 degrees your high temperature on Monday, Tuesday, right around 36, and yes, Alex, that is a slight chance of snow flurries come Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. The good news is, though, by Wednesday we hit 38. Thursday and Friday of next week, not on your extended forecast, but it does look like temperatures will be warming back up into the 40s and possibly even 50s as we wrap up our next work week.
Luckily for that rain tomorrow, it doesn't come until much later in the evening.
It really is going to hold off. So things, while we see the peak heat right around 3, 4, maybe even as late as 5 p.m. tomorrow, it looks like the rain will hold off until the evening hours. So it really shouldn't affect the high temperature tomorrow. But as you get out towards the evening, a lot of people like to head out Friday evenings. You may want to grab an umbrella along with you. Aside from that, really looking at a beautiful day as today as well as tomorrow.
All right, Cameron, thanks very much. Coming up, the FBI lends a hand in the missing Malaysian plane investigation, why officials are paying extra attention to a flight simulator. And the president fills out his tournament bracket. See if your Final Four picks match with the chief of staff.
You may not always know where your road will take you next.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I've lived in this town my whole life, but it might be time for me to say goodbye.
Now that Catherine is graduating, her career could take her anywhere. So it's good that her Purdue Federal account can travel with her, giving her access to thousands of shared branches and surcharge-free ATMs nationwide.
You know, leaving's gonna be hard, but it's seriously gonna be an adventure.
Your road may take you anywhere. Wherever it does, we'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Darling, you are the best!
Oh, of course, I know.
And I've got a special surprise for you.
Yeah.
Jimmy John's?
What? I am the luckiest man in the world!
I'm just gonna set these right here.
Okay.
Jimmy John's. Order online at jimmyjohns.com.
Don't miss a chance to see New York's own action heroes at Purdue University. Streb, live at Elliott Hall on Friday, April 4th. Tickets available at convocations.org. Presented by Purdue Convocations.
The road to championship savings starts at the Bob Roman Auto Group. Score yourself a great deal during March Motor Mania.
Get financing as low as 0 APR or savings up to $8,000 on new Toyotas, Hondas, Lincolns, Subarus, Mitsubishis, Hyundais, and more.
Bob Roman. And we can beat any deal on a new car. The Bob Roman Auto Group, Lafayette. We are the Midwest #1 volume auto group.
You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
Officials say 2 objects spotted by Australian satellites could be connected to the missing Malaysian airliner. And the U.S. Justice Department orders Toyota to pay more than $1 billion in fines. Here's Anne-Marie Green with some of today's top headlines.
Australia's Prime Minister says 2 objects were spotted on satellite images that may be from the missing Malaysian airliner. Aircraft are searching the area in the southern Indian Ocean. The FBI has been called in to help analyze data from a flight simulator belonging to the pilot of Flight 370. On Wednesday, Malaysian officials revealed several files were deleted back in February, over a month before the flight disappeared. Distraught relatives of the passengers unleashed their anger Wednesday at a briefing near Kuala Lumpur's airport, accusing the Malaysian government of hiding information. President Obama says the U.S. won't get involved militarily in the Ukraine crisis. The comments come on the same day that Russian-speaking troops took over Ukraine's Navy headquarters in Sevastopol. The international community continues to condemn Russia's annexation of Crimea. Western governments are considering tougher sanctions against Moscow. And Toyota has agreed to one of the largest fines ever imposed on an automaker. The Justice Department announced Wednesday that the company will pay $1.2 billion to end a criminal probe looking into the response to sudden acceleration issues with some of its vehicles. Those are some of the day's top stories. I'm Anne-Marie Green, CBS News, New York.
Well, this story is definitely Cameron's top story of the day. Disney and Lucasfilm have announced Episode 7 of Star Wars will begin shooting in May. The film, directed by J.J. Abrams, will be set about 30 years after 1983's Return of the Jedi. The movie is reported to feature both new and familiar faces, including Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford as Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo, respectively. Star Wars Episode 7 is slated to hit theaters December 2015. And the presidential bracket is in. President Obama revealed to ESPN his picks for the NCAA tournament. So who did the president take in this Final Four? Well, he has Florida, Michigan State, Arizona, and Louisville, with Louisville and Michigan State meeting in the final game. And as for the president's final pick, he went with the Big Ten. President Obama predicts Coach Tom Izzo and the Spartans will win it all. Coincidentally, my pick as well. Coming up, millions more people could be prescribed anti-cholesterol medication. We'll let you know what a new recommendation by the American Heart Association has to do with it.
Saving at Furniture Row is a slam dunk. Score big with our top 64 picks and more. Like this sofa and love seat for only $678 or this dining table just $379. Plus get 64 months no interest. Furniture Row, home of Denver Mattress, your Tempur-Pedic elite retailer.
Freckles Graphics. If you can think it, we can create it.
Breaking news! One of the world's only mummified dinosaurs has arrived at the Children's Museum.
He's the only dinosaur with over 90% of his skin fossilized.
Open now at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis.
Do you have a great smile? Do you smile with confidence? Let Advantage Dental show you how easy and affordable having a great smile can be. We offer full-service dentistry, including dentures, with easy financing options with approved credit. Cosigners are welcomed. Our on-site lab assures you'll get your dentures the same day as extractions. For a limited time, new patients can save 15% on their treatment plan, including dentures. Some limitations apply. Call and schedule your appointment today. Advantage Dental, changing smiles and enriching lives.
In the fall of 2009, you finished your first marathon. In the winter of 2009, you were finished with marathons.
Your old treadmill has more miles to log. Put the useful to use.
Ready for some spring break savings? Denver Mattress, America's largest factory direct mattress retailer, has some sizzling hot deals for you. Get no interest for 64 months with no money down. You'll appreciate the savings as you head to the beach. Denver Mattress, your Tempur-Pedic elite retailer.
You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
Look at your weather picture of the day sent by Drake Fleck. Beautiful image here. The sun just setting right over the horizon. The beautiful colors in the sky there. You have the nice little cumulus clouds there in the foreground. A great looking picture from Drake. If you'd like to submit your own weather picture, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can go to WLFI.com, click the weather tab, go down to weather picture. There's a submission form there online, or you can just email those weather pictures to weatherteam18@WLFI.com. Temperatures this morning, not exactly the warmest we've seen, but altogether a pretty nice start to the day, to say the least. We are expecting mainly clear skies later this afternoon. Temperatures sitting at 29 degrees as of right now. Some light scattered cloud cover for the time being. However, partly clouded and mainly clear skies are expected for your first day of spring, with a high temperature right around 55 degrees.
Cameron, thank you very much. New guidelines from the American Heart Association could result in millions more Americans taking anti-cholesterol drugs. And developing diabetes during your 40s may mean memory loss even later in life. Adriana Diaz explains in today's Health Watch.
The American Heart Association's new guidelines for using statins to treat high cholesterol and prevent heart disease are expected to result in about 13 million more Americans taking the drugs. That's according to a report in the New England Journal of Medicine, which says most of the additional statin users will be over 60 years old. Researchers in Chicago say infections caused by antibiotic-resistant superbugs are on the rise among children in the U.S. The infections are still rare, but the bacteria is being found more and more in young children, while scientists try to figure out how to treat it. And researchers at the Mayo Clinic say people who develop diabetes and high blood pressure in middle age are twice as likely to have brain cell loss and memory problems when they're older. Scans showed their brains are almost 3% smaller than those who don't have diabetes or high blood pressure. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, New York.
Coming up in a live interview, find out what the buzz is at Purdue University today. We'll be back in just 2 minutes.
Health Watch on News 18 is brought to you by Franciscan St. Elizabeth Health.
Family history and lifestyle play a significant role in your health. They can lead to high blood pressure, diabetes, or hip and knee problems, or put you at risk of heart disease or even cancer. As one of the largest networks of specialty care physicians in Indiana, together we can care for you and your family from the very beginning. Franciscan Physician Network, inspiring health.
This tax season, why not make the most of your refund and bring your car to Maaco? Take advantage of the last few weeks of our most popular paint sale. That's half off for a limited time. So come to the body shop that's easy, affordable, and reliable. Maaco, America's body shop.
Moving is hard. So much has happened here. I mean, this was Grace's first home. It's where she took her first steps. It's where she said her first words. But this new home, well, it's what we always dreamed about. And it's so exciting to think of what will begin here.
And I will do it for you.
This tax season, why not make the most of your refund and bring your car to Maaco? Take advantage of the last few weeks of our most popular paint sale. That's half off for a limited time. So come to the body shop that's easy, affordable, and reliable. Maaco, America's body shop.
When you need to know what's happening in our community, it shouldn't matter what time of day it is or where you are. When you're on the go and need the latest news headlines and local weather forecast, make sure you have the WLFI app. Available for iOS and Android. Just go to WLFI.com on your smartphone web browser. Stay in the know with News 18 on the go and on our mobile app. Whenever and wherever you need to know news from where you live, it's available with the News 18 app. You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
Today is finally the first day of spring, and when we think spring, we think flowers, and when we think flowers, we think bees. And bees play a vital role in the environment and even in the economy. They add more than $15 billion of crop value each year, and right now the Bayer Bee Care Tour is making its way across the country, and today the tour stops in West Lafayette. Sarah Myers is our guest this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So we have a whole assortment of honey and beekeeping kits and everything. Tell us first of all a little bit about the honeys here, and then we're actually going to try some.
Sure. So you notice the color is different, and you'll also taste the flavor is different, and that is dependent upon the flowers that the bees are visiting. So let's try one of them.
Okay.
One of my favorites, citrus honey from orange blossoms, and you will definitely taste an orange flavor there.
Yes, I do.
You like that?
It's very strong.
Yeah.
It's really good. Now, it's very different. I didn't know that honeys could have so many different varieties.
They can. In fact, we have buckwheat honey, which is a little bit darker, bitter, kind of like molasses. And so this comes from buckwheat, the actual crop.
That is very different still. Now tell us a little bit about the tour going nationwide and ending up in D.C. pretty soon.
Yes, so National Pollinator Week is our last stop in D.C. Today we're here at Purdue at the Beck Agricultural Center, and it's a way to foster relationships between beekeepers, growers, and others interested in honeybee health.
Now most people think, are only flowers when it comes to bees, or only a certain type of plant here and there, but bees are actually a vital part of the economy, pollinating all different kinds of plants and really helping agriculture grow in a variety of ways.
Yes, they play a very important role to our food supply, sustainable agriculture, and the beautification of our gardens and backyards, which is why Bayer Crop Science is here celebrating the tour and also opening our Bee Care Research Center in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina next month.
And I know that there was a lot of news recently being made out of California, especially because there's a vastly declining bee population there that was affecting a lot of their agriculture. So what is kind of the hope for the future of bees going forward and helping agriculture?
Well, the good news is that the number of colonies has actually stabilized in the U.S., but we are seeing there's a multitude of complex issues, and companies like Bayer Crop Science, who have been researching bee health for over 25 years, is furthering their commitment by having this research center and fostering those relationships with other researchers and beekeepers and growers.
And how can farmers who take care of a variety of crops, how can they get involved in maybe thinking, maybe I'd like to have bees on my farm and help my crops? How could they do that?
Yeah, they could reach out to commercial beekeepers because pollination is vital to crop yield, and then always following label directions whenever they're using agricultural products.
All right, Sarah Myers of the Bayer Bee Care Tour, thank you very much.